So hi, young Kim. I'm so excited to see you. I was so excited to read your manuscript that you sent me. I really appreciate it. As I said, like when I got it, I started reading it, and then I couldn't stop, put it down. And then I think it was like a day or 2 days later, I sent you a text saying, "I'm so engrossed, I can't put it down. I have to finish it." And I did finish it. Like I think I read it in 3-4 days. I really wanted to. Yeah, it's really. I was really. I loved it. I enjoyed it a lot. Also, I think what I really liked was the fact that half of the people that you talk about, I know. So it was really funny, and the neighborhoods, and I'm like, but I was there, and and now even when you talked about Paris, and you're like, oh, behind, Sun Street, I'm like, I go there all the time. So that was really fun for me too, and it made it very, I guess it's kind of an interesting book because it was so personal and so like casual. I felt like I was just having a conversation with you. Reading it, it was very like you were telling me this amazing affair you had with this guy, and I'm like, oh my god, tell me everything, as like girls talk, and you talk in detail because you really go into detail about everything, which is, I was like, wow, you have so much courage. So I want to say that.
No, I'm so thrilled you enjoyed the book. No, thank you so much for being interested.
Yeah, and I think she just got me the actual book, which I'm excited about because I didn't have a chance to see the cover, which I am seeing now. And it's so beautiful.
So that book is designed after Olympia Press, which is a historic French press.
I read, yes. Who did also, you told me that they
did Lolita, they did a lot of banned books. And what happened was the man who owned it, Giraudias, he discovered that you could print these books, banned books in English language here, and the French couldn't judge them.
I know, it's
and so they fell through the cracks.
So you wanted to be part of the banned books club?
Well, I thought it kind of connected.
It's kind of cool.
Malcolm really loved Olympia Press. It inspired him a great deal. So.
Okay, so I have to ask you. First of all, did you always want to write? Is this something?
No, it's something that happened completely by accident. No, this book is by accident. I mean, I did start writing a little bit because, in fact, my lawyer in London said, why don't you write a book about Malcolm, like after he died? And I thought, well, I don't know, okay, And so I started writing a little bit, but that was so painful for me. So I would pick it up and put it down, pick it up and put it down, and now I finally will finish it, but it's been very painful. But, so that's how I started writing at all. And this book, I mean, as I explained in the book, I only wrote this by chance because Richard asked me to write something. And I just enjoyed writing it. And as I explained too in the book, I write journal entries, not that often, maybe 12 times a year. But when I do, they're quite long, and I enjoy writing them, so it was very natural.
Does this mean you have like a bunch of journal entries of your life?
I do have, but not that many either. Yeah, but I do.
That's kind of amazing.
I don't know, I think some people write much more journals, if they do.
So it kind of started like that, like writing a journal entry. This is how, because it does feel like you're just writing a journal entry.
Yeah, because I originally just wrote it for myself. And my journal entries are not that different. I mean, obviously this I add a little more detail. I try to make it more literary in that sense, but it's pretty much the same,
And what kind of, so I'm assuming you read a lot of books? Or are you
I've always been a big reader.
Yeah,
since I was a child I read it a lot,
And are there books that have like changed your life or meant something so dramatically to you, or
I think the book, well, it's funny, the book that helped me to survive, and I read that you like this book, that helped me to survive after Malcolm died, actually, because basically what you want is escape, and that was The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
What?
So
that's hilarious. That's like my book.
Yeah,
I'm obsessed with that book.
Oh no, I think they're remarkable. I've read them many times, and
amazing.
That book came out just, I think, before Malcolm died, and I didn't know about it.
Why?
Well, I think it's just really fun
because of
escapist book. No, it's a great escapist book. It's exciting. So I remember I discovered them, and I went to see it with some friends in LA for the summer, and they had it there. I read the whole series in 1 week. Yeah, it was just amazing.
It is that readable,
Yeah, and I've read it again and again, every once in a while when I just want something, to escape. Yeah, I read that. So I guess that kind of saved me in a bit, I would say, after he died.
That's wonderful.
I think they can save a lot of people's lives, help people escape from where they are.
And do you feel like writing also is sort of a mean?
Yes, no, writing is therapeutic to me, and it's also just, I mean, this book was just fun. You know, when people say writing, you know, is work or torture, for me, this was really fun. I had to force myself to stop.
And so in the book, it's very, obviously very detailed, and very erotic. I was like, as I was reading, like, wait a minute. I mean, I loved it. I guess my question to you, did you think you were capable of being so forthcoming about your sexual life to this degree? Like, how did you find the courage to be like, I'm just gonna put it all out there?
Well, you know, the funny thing is, everybody brings this up. First of all, I don't know, do you have courage if you didn't even contemplate it? If the question never occurred to you? I don't know, it never occurred to me. I just wrote down what I experienced. That was really it. I don't really think anymore. And what was really incredible is everybody brings this up, and then what was interesting, when I started showing the manuscript to people, to literate people in publishing, they would bring that up, but also I didn't know there was a big deal about sex writing, that
especially in America, I guess in America, right? It's so, we can be so prudish in that way. I don't know. I'm
no,
wondering,
that's true
here
too.
in France, it's like,
yeah,
they love it, but
I don't mean even that. I mean, like, people trying to describe sex, apparently they find it difficult or try to get it right, because often sex writing is considered tricky, and so you have to toe the fine line. You don't want it to be pornography,
yeah.
and you don't want it to be so naturalistic. There's no eroticism.
Yeah.
So to find that middle ground apparently is difficult. That's what I've been told. And so yeah, I was surprised when people said, "Wow, you write particularly well."
Yeah, you do.
I know I do.
And is your affair over with Richard?
Well,
It lasted a year, and then
well,
you
no,
stopped.
actually it went longer. It went
Longer?
on. Yeah, I ended this book.
You ended but you ended a bit abruptly too, and I was like, wait, it's over? Like, are they done? There's what's happening? Did he call her back? What's happening?
Well, I thought that was a good ending, so I ended it there. No, the story continued until another 2 years, until he found out about the book. So.
I see.
So, yeah.
Okay. And so also, do you? What was your process about writing this? How did you write it? Meaning, I know you were writing it as it was going along.
Yeah.
But then, did you sit every day to write a little bit about it, or you only wrote it when something happened? You went home and wrote about, like, how? What's the process?
I just wrote whenever I felt like it.
Okay.
You know, whenever I felt like it, something, I was like, oh, I feel like writing about this, or I heard from Richard, or something reminded me of him, or something that was going on I wanted to write about. It's really just written how I felt whenever I was in the mood, and it could have been anywhere. But I really enjoyed writing about this. It's funny, it's just really writing about in connection to him and just my daily life somehow, also connecting back to this one story. And so I wrote it all over. I wrote it on the train, I wrote it on the plane, I wrote it on lounges, I wrote it wherever. And I also, I would print it out and I carry it around and I'd go over it. And sometimes I remember something I hadn't thought about, put it in.
But you write like pen and paper, or you type?
No, I type it all. But I like to have printouts. I do like to have a paper manuscript, so I'd have the paper manuscript, and I would just add things, you know, and correct and whatever. So yeah, I mean, I have all the versions actually too. You know, obviously on my computer. You know, just a growing. I was looking back at one because I wanted to see the difference between something when it was first written to later. And for me, it's not much different. I mean, the very beginning of the book is pretty much the same as it always was.
And do you feel like you want to keep writing?
Yeah, no, I really enjoy it. And what's nice, I can do it myself.
I know.
Compared to other things, you have to get everybody else to agree.
This is the one thing you can do. I know.
Yeah, complete on your own.
It's kind of wonderful that.
Yeah. So no, I'm finally finishing my book on Malcolm.
More like an autobiography.
No,
like
yeah.
a biography.
It's a memoir about my time with Malcolm.
Okay.
I started it, as I said, because of my lawyer, Mark Stevens, and but I thought I should finish it now because there's a big documentary on Malcolm coming out next year, and so I thought I should finish it for that. And but this book won't be a normal chronological memoir because I've written a few chapters already, and some of them have been published, and they're kind of self-contained stories. I'm going to keep it like that. So. You know, and the chapter that I've published already is like, first of all, meeting him. I have a chapter about meeting Quentin Tarantino. I have another chapter about going to St. Bart's upon Lauren Hutton's invitation. You know, I've kind of these adventures. So this summer I wrote a chapter about Malcolm and art. You know, I'll do one on Malcolm in fashion. I have another idea about Malcolm driving. You know, 'cause everybody was horrified by the idea of his driving. So I have a story about Malcolm and driving.
Nice.
So it'll just be kind of like random little stories like that.
So you always really write from somewhere very, very personal, actually.
So far, yes.
Yeah. And you live between Paris, London, New York. So you travel. I saw like I was like, oh my God, she travels more than I do. I think you're all over, which is wonderful. Do you have like, for example, do you have like favorite bookshops anywhere, or one bookshop that is like the bookshop for you that you could maybe tell us about?
Well, I mean, I'd say probably in London I always go back to Daunt's. I enjoy going
The
there.
one on
Marlborough.
I
Yeah,
love that bookshop so much.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
So other bookstores, I'm not sure that I really. New York, I don't really, you know, I don't spend that much time in New York. When I do, I go to the Strand. I really love the Strand. It's a wonderful bookstore.
Oh, this color is gorgeous.
That's my favorite color. I love red orange.
It's a beautiful color.
Oh, I'm glad you liked it. Well, it's modeled after Olympia Press, and Malcolm was crazy about Olympia Press. He's very inspired by it, and you know they published a lot of books with Henry Miller, Lolita, The Story of O, all these banned books in English, so that tourists, American English tourists, could buy them, and they couldn't find them anywhere else. They carried them back. And actually, see, I made it like a joke.
I know, I see that.
But originally it says, I replaced that. So it
This is so
says,
nice.
"À lire dans le noir." But originally it said, in Olympia Press, said, not for sale in the UK or the US,
that's
because they're
funny.
banned. Yeah.
To think that there was a time where books were banned in America and the UK is so weird.
It's until very recently.
It's so strange.
It's only at the end of the 70s all that ended.
Really?
Yeah. See, I was really shocked, but there were major lawsuits even into the 70s about book censorship. And a wonderful book to read about that is actually Gay Tillese's book called Thy Neighbor's Wife.
Yeah.
That is an unbelievable
Really?
book. It's about the history of sex and sexuality, in America from the post World War II, starting with Hugh Hefner and going into, I think the book was published in 1980. And it's unbelievable. It explains all these things, and I was really shocked how recent the kind of book censorship was.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you.
I really enjoyed it. And
It was lovely to meet you.
yeah,
Thank you so
really nice
much.
to meet you too.
Thank you.